Well, Dr. Michael Carter of the Shreveport Police Association was highly critical of you in the 7 o'clock hour and has sent out a letter saying that you are, basically, you don't support police and you're pushing for a fire pay raise over a police pay raise, if I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of the gist. And your response firstly.
Well, my response is this, and give me just a minute here. You know, I raised two girls, and I can remember at times when my youngest was little, she would want after school a piece of candy. And I would say, no, baby, you can have a piece of fruit, but you can't have a piece of candy. We'll give you candy after you eat your dinner. And she would call me everything in the book until she got that piece of candy. Unfortunately, as smart as Dr. Carter is and as how much respect I have for Officer Carter, I kind of feel like that's the way it is. I want to give you a little background about what's been going on. Carter never came to me. He has talked to me about a raise, and I have met with him about a raise, but no real specifics over the last 2 years. And I will say this: he did say that you know that he supported me, and he may have personally supported me, but the SPOA in the 2018 election cycle for the city of Shreveport supported one candidate alone, no city council members. They supported Adrian Perkins. And if you look at the video from yesterday, the Perkins administration did not even vote for the 4%. So I'm not quite sure why all the outrage at me. But anyway, we have been having, I believe that raise should have come, the one that was put on by Councilwoman Fuller, and I respect her for putting it on the agenda, but it probably should have come through the Public Safety Committee first and been vetted at that, because they're not the votes to pass that. We would have had 2 votes to pass that. That's why she's been tabling it. Dr. Carter wants her to go ahead and put it up to vote, where he can do when people vote no on it because we just don't have the money, he can go out and politically attack us.
Weren't you privy to Carter's plan from jump? Didn't you see his plan in the beginning?
I saw parts of it, yes, but I was never willing to actually support it as it was. And then the other aspect of it is, as much as we're hurting from the police side, we're hurting on the fire side. And yes, I am a firefighter. I'm still an EMT. I was a fire chief for 11 years. I started with many of the firemen that are leaving. We're losing firemen just as well as we're losing police officers.
But Grayson, we have a crime problem. We don't have a fire problem. We have a huge crime problem. You understand that argument, right?
Oh my God! Well, I'm also the husband of a police officer that has over 11 years. An active police officer that has over 11 years experience. I've been through an officer-involved shooting with her. I've been through injuries both of myself and her in the line of duty. I know what we're dealing with here. I'm not ignorant, and I may not have a PhD, but I'm not ignorant, and I know what's going on. So I agree. But the best thing for us to do, and let me make this perfectly clear, none of the money for the fire department is coming from anything from the police department. The fire department is the only department in the city, besides water and sewer, that generates revenue. The fire department generates $17 million in transport revenue a year. And we were going to use part of that to give them the raise. The problem with Officer Carter's raise is that it takes officers that the police chief does not want away. Now, let me give you some numbers. Here's some hard facts. Carter was throwing around numbers that were not really all that accurate. In November of 2018, we had 548 officers. In June of 2019, we had 541 officers. In December of 19, less than a year ago, we had 538 officers. Now, the call volume has not gone down. And yes, maybe we are losing officers because it's been like a train wreck, that things just kind of, you got COVID. Maybe people don't want to be around the COVID. You have working conditions. They're driving old cars. They're in an old police station. There's lots of things that contribute to it. But what we're trying to do, or what I'm trying to do, is give the police a raise that is viable, that will help them at least until we can get an operation to stop the major bleeding, and that would be some form of vote by the people. And I don't know if it would pass or not, but maybe a sales tax. I don't know. But this is something that we can afford that does not go against what the mayor and the police chief want.
Mr. Grayson, finish your thoughts, sir. I'm sorry.
unfortunately, Michael Carter, in his mind, thinks that, we should just go against what the chief wants. But look, I'm not the police chief. I'm not. And I'm not going to, if the police chief tells me I can't lose those positions, then I have to trust him. He was put in by the mayor. He was voted unanimously in by the city council. He is the professional. He's the one making $150,000 a year, not me. And that's not my job. My job is a legislator.
Mr. Grayson, if you and, as you just pointed out, a number of others in that power pipeline are against the Fuller-Carter plan, is there something right now that you could get behind? Is there anything on the table that anybody's brought up, maybe even you, that would get Grayson Boucher's support?
Oh, yeah, and look, I'm for Carter's plan. I just am not going to go against the chief's wishes and eliminate, I believe it would be, eliminate 49 positions. I can't go against what the chief wants. Now, we voted yesterday on a plan that would give everyone a 4% raise plus the 2% longevity. And then we also have had conversations about going to the taxpayers. We have to go to the delegation first, the legislative delegation, to try to get a half-cent sales tax to get us closer to Boucher. Now, I'm going to note this, and I want the listeners to understand this. We have been talking about this since I was elected. In the last 3 months, we have had 4 meetings, 4 public safety meetings. Officer Carter has not attended one. We had a meeting at the academy that brought all the unions together, the SPOA, the Shreveport Police Union, the Fire Union. The Fire Administration was there, the Police Administration was there. Levette Fuller put that together, and I appreciate it. We sat in a room. We talked for about 2 hours at the Fire Academy. Everybody was willing to work together except for the SPOA. In fact, one of the chiefs, and it wasn't Chief Raymond, looked over at Carter and said, look, we're working to try to get y'all a raise. Is that not, is this not good enough? Will you not help us at least do this? And he said, no, I want the raise that I proposed. It's not good enough.
Well, the mayor's not in support of this, it doesn't sound like. So the plan y'all voted on yesterday may be headed for a veto. Is that likely?
It very well could be headed for a veto. You're right, yeah.
And do you have override numbers or no?
I'm not sure. I mean, I know we've got 4 votes to get it passed, which I think will help our police officers and firefighters, the city marshals, in the interim.
So if there's a veto, neither department's going to get a pay raise.
That's correct. Yeah.
Oh, sad. Councilman Grayson Boucher.
It's a mess, and I just would ask everyone to continue to pray for our police officers, our firefighters, and pray for us as a council, because we've really got a mess. We're really trying to do the best that we can do with what we've got, and I don't want to be playing political games with Sergeant Carter.
Gotcha.